Welcome to the Buy Box Bandits podcast.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Buy Box Bandits podcast. For those listening on the recording, which is pretty much all you outside of the 45 people here live with us on the Flips from Miles YouTube channel, well, this is our first live episode. We aren't sure how it's going to go. We aren't sure how we're going to like it, how you guys are going to like it, but we're doing it and everything. And we got two great guests here for us right now, Romer the Romer and BillyFlips here. So you guys want to introduce yourselves to Buy Box Bandit Nation, of which you guys are both former guests as well, but I think it'd be fun. We all have some good banter we can get on together with this stuff. So you want to?
I'll introduce Billy, and Billy can introduce me. So Billy's a young hustler, 18 years old, crushing it. Came to Miami 2022.
20.
He's
20.
Okay, I thought you were 18,
All
but coming up fast. And yeah, my name's Romer, aka Romer the Romer. And
I thought I was going to introduce you.
Well, true.
Avery just I feel like I was talking about Billy, and then I'm like, I don't even know his age.
You got
so I don't know if I know. Sales are like 8,000 a month. Doing OA, you're doing pretty good. Like you just started doing this. You're flipping books. Impressive on the come up. You're flipping a lot of stuff. I'm not even gonna say what you're flipping now, because do we talk about that? Do we talk about what?
No, we don't. We don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But
so,
yeah, guys, Avery here to the left of me or on the right. Big bookseller. He's been around for a while. Lived in a canoe for a little bit, or in his car with a canoe on top.
Lived in a canoe.
He's got a nice textbook consignment business. But he is kind of a bozo in the OA game so far. So
Yeah, wait, he's obsessed with selling all the brands that we don't sell.
No. Let me correct you. I'm obsessed with asking you guys. Like, why would I ask you guys? Is this a good lead when I know it's a good lead? You guys just gonna go buy it.
Continuously likes to make it more complicated than it has to be. That's
I ask you guys the complex questions because that's you guys know the answers, but I do the simple shit.
Yeah, so basically these days we're all doing online arbitrage pretty much. We're all focused on that stuff. Some back to school type categories and stuff and everything like that. Gatekeepers share the sauce. What kind of sauce do you want to know, Seb is kid? Okay, this is a good question we can all answer. What % do you pay yourself back versus what you put back into business for Amazon payments? Avery, Romer, as the resident oldest, as well as most experienced Amazon seller, how do you answer that? That's a good question. How do you do that?
It's survival mode. From day one, it's been survival mode. So like 2018, I did 80,000 in sales for the year. I thought I was rich. I think I only made like 10K profit. Like I cash flowed 10K. I probably made like 30 or 40 because it was all books.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, back then I was really bad with managing money, but now it's just like, now, I mean, I don't pay myself like a certain amount, but it's just whatever I make. Like, I just try to spend as little as possible to live the life that I want to live. And so, like, over the years, I've spent outrageous amounts to live. Like, I spent $3,000 a month in 2020 just for my rent, not even including, like, food or anything like that. And so, like, I wasn't even making that type of money back then. Like, yeah, textbook.
This is also a dude that spent $2,000 on a walking treadmill that he never used, like a walking desk.
I'm actually like trying to like cut down like on the stupid shit. Like now I realize what I want. I'm here in Colombia. I get free breakfast every morning. I get my room cleaned every day. It's like I have to do very little things. Like I get my laundry done every day. Like those are the things that's important to me. I bought this camera years ago when I didn't have the money for it.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's been great.
When I first started YouTube. Yeah. But basically, like, I mean, I think for me to live it in Miami, I was probably like honestly, 5,000 a month was what I was like taking out for personal stuff. You know, and like you got to pay taxes on that unless you're gonna write it off. Talk to Jake Carter if you want to learn more about taxes. But yeah, now I think I can get my living costs down to like, even in Colombia, I'm still like 2,000, 2,500 a month, but I'm living like a king here. So, I mean, that's essentially what I pay myself is my living expense. And then I've been spending a lot of money on inventory. Like I spent 85,000 so far on inventory. So that's trying to be like Miles, step my inventory game up. And yeah, it's kind of weird having a business now where you have to put more back in to get more out. Consignment wasn't like that, you know. So that's my long-winded answer.
That's an interesting thesis, though.
Yeah,
because that's like a huge shift of perspective, right? Because before you were almost on autopilot, right? You were out of the business and your business was generating X.
Yeah.
Like now there's a major input that needs to take place in order to get
exactly. That. I actually look at myself kind of like you, because you have this. Do you still have the salary coming in?
Yep.
Yeah, so you have the salary coming in, and I kind of look at it like that. Like I make, between 10 and 30,000 a month from restricted inventory, depending on the month, and then I have to decide what. Yeah, like that's profit. Anywhere from like
free cash flow.
80 to like 130 in sales. We're at 130 in sales right now somehow. About 10K OA sales, but yeah, I'm learning how to. It definitely makes you look at things a lot differently when you're spending a lot. Like I bought clothes the other day, and I'm like, I'm spending $300 on these clothes, and I'm not gonna sell these clothes. But it was like, it didn't feel that weird because I'm like, I buy Kohl's on all these. I buy clothes on all these websites all the time, and it's just weird buying stuff for myself now. Like I don't know if you guys feel that way when you started, like just buying stuff in general. Like buying stuff is different now.
For me personally, my mind always goes to how can I get this cheaper, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Reselling makes you so good at that. Yeah, with coupons.
I've noticed that, like, seeing discount codes everywhere. Like, not even just when I'm sourcing, but when I'm just like out, like doing something.
Yeah.
Kind of
definitely makes you think, am I getting the best deal possible? And then like I even buy stuff like that I'm doing OA for myself. Sometimes I'm like, this is a fire deal. I'm gonna buy it for myself. Like I will never buy like certain items. I won't say them on Amazon if they're above like a certain price, just because I know I can get them for less.
Yeah, kind of shifting the perspective to my friend Billy here, right? So you were a 100% bookseller, call it 3-4 months ago, but now you're really getting a sense of what OA is like, what this business is from an OA perspective. What's your mindset? Are you ready to give up books 100%? What's your first impression of the OA side of things?
Love. He's cheating on the first love.
Yeah, it's
obviously your business has shifted dramatically. So what has that done to your mindset?
Yeah, it was slowly shifting while I was still doing books, but as I got more access to capital, like my focus is basically just how much can I spend each day now. But with books, yeah, it's going to be a sad departure. It was definitely a great way coming up, but I want to really scale this business, and books, unless you're Avery running a massive consignment business or you have some A1 supplier in bulk, it just, but the thing is that I was thinking about today, which is nice, is that I have like a little foundation of about 1,000 books that'll continue to sell for the next couple months. While I still keep sending stuff in. So it's definitely, the sweat equity will always pay off in the long run.
So you touched on a key point that was the major and very important into your growth is getting your hands on that extra capital. For the viewers that don't know your story, what you went through the past couple of months, give us the lowdown in terms of how you acquired that capital, what was the process, and what was the outcome?
Yeah, so I think it's important to believe in the whole process yourself before you start to ask other people for loans or ask a parent or a relative to help you co-sign on a business card. But that's pretty much what I did, was ask my dad to apply for an Amex Plum and add me as an authorized user. And that just opens up so many more opportunities for me as far as
that's what I did, dude. That's what I had to do in 2019 as well, and that ended up being huge because that I never really needed a lot of spend power until like September of last year, but it was big because my credit was good enough that then I could take advantage of that. And that probably made me like an extra like 50K, 50 to like 100K last year, was having that extra spend power I could leverage out once I became good at it. But okay, so we got 71 people in here right now, and I bet very few of them have like personal brands, and I'm sure they hear us talk about how making content is so important and everything like that. But let's talk about kind of just how to get into whether it even just like starting an Amazon Instagram account or whatever, like good practices around that. Cause that's stuff we've all four done. The only reason why we know each other is because we've all done it. And we would all co-sign why making content so important about stuff. But a lot of people want to do it and they never end up doing it, even though it's free. So let's talk about that. So Avery, you're the first one of us to get started with that. So
so obviously I've done a lot of thinking about this over the years, and I'm kind of regressing back to, I feel like I was like this when I first started, and I feel like I'm getting back more into it, where I'm just like literally just documenting like raw what's happening. And on top of that, I'm only making content that I want to make and that makes me happy. So, like I shot like a 35-minute video the other day about my whole repricing process. And it was like, for some people, it's going to be so boring. Like the YouTube video probably won't do too well. But if you continue to do that over time, eventually, like let's just say like I've been obsessed with jiu-jitsu and salsa dancing. I need to do a better job of documenting that stuff. But if you just like literally record, like open up the camera and just record like yourself, or you can get more creative with it. Like I've really thought about making like a badass video of my life, or like my life right now, like what I'm doing right now, like where I narrate it and I have like videos of me like working, like, you know, on the computer, and it's like a nice camera. But that takes a lot of fucking work. You know, like it's a lot easier just to like open the camera and verbally vomit. So I would say like if you're skeptical about getting started, just do that, and like have a no judgment rule. Like it doesn't matter if it gets 1 view, 19 views, 190, like stay detached from that. Like some of my best videos are like videos I don't even like that much, or like I look back and I'm like, I wish I would have said that differently, or I wasn't really being myself. And I would rather be myself and like post content that I want to post and it get less views than and that's scalable. You can do it your whole life. Like we're going to be doing this shit our whole life. You know, you can take a few months off, whatever, but if you approach it that way, you're not going to have burnout. Burnout happens when you just get exhausted and you see no end and you're doing it for someone else, you know? But with that being said, I will say, like, if you do want to have content that takes off, don't be an idiot. Pay attention to trends, pay attention to thumbnails that work, pay attention to hooks that work at the beginning. Can't ignore that stuff if you truly want to like build a personal brand that is going to scale. Like great examples, Miles, Profit Plug. These people in the last few years have really come up because they've done a really good job of giving the market what it wants. The market wants to know how to make money. The market wants questions to their answers. So if you have an interesting perspective, make a nice video, have some nice lighting. All you need is a cell phone. Even Alex Ramosi shoots his videos from an iPhone. You know, this dude's doing 100 million sales a year. He's shooting his videos from an iPhone. So you don't need like a fancy camera like this. You'll post videos
everyone has an iPhone that's good enough. And everyone started too. Like no one really starts with like a nice camera if they weren't already like making money prior, right? We all just started with our iPhones in Northwest and Mexico and all that stuff.
I mean, that's interesting though, because Avery's approach is probably the complete opposite of my approach, because everything I post is pointed and strategic, right?
Yeah. Yes, and it's great content. I side note, I will binge watch your content like once a month or so. Like I haven't kept up with Garrett. You post on Instagram a lot. I don't know if you post on YouTube.
Nah, so I try.
I'll just go through your Instagram and like listen to everything. I'll be like, shit, I'll be taking notes. So it's like, I love content like that.
But your way of doing it is refreshing in the sense that like, I put a lot of pressure on every single video because for me it needs to be pointed and direct and have a purpose, have some sort of value. But on the other hand, you've been successful with the complete opposite in terms of just documenting. So that's pretty cool.
Right. And Scott Needham kind of takes the approach of just like verbally vomiting stuff. And he's smart as hell, obviously. Smartest Seller is his name. Yeah. But I love his style of content. Like you just listen to him just rant about stuff. And even though like 90% of the stuff doesn't pertain to me, it does in some other realm. You know, like I can like be like, oh, like let me think about my business that way, because he's thinking about his business that does like 70 million a year this way. He's helped me a lot with repricing inadvertently. His talk at 2022 that really changed that's probably made me so much money this year, just repricing.
I think the other thing about authenticity and being original with your content is you're going to draw the kind of people that you would want your audience to be, like similar.
Only if you post authentically. The funny thing is, I've posted not being myself before. I'll admit it. You attract different people. So if you post being yourself, you attract the people that are like you. Yeah,
and builds a loyal following. But I mean, Garrett also has a strategy that he's able to be consistent with. So, you don't necessarily. You can just jump in and do whatever you want. Like it's like Miles said,
kind of how we all started. Like that is pretty much how. Like if anyone has the time, you can scroll back through like 1,000 posts on Instagram. You can see 2019 income $1,000 a month or whatever type type stuff and everything. Same thing with Avery, right? But you got to start somewhere. Like there's a good quote. I don't really know how it goes. It's like, don't let perfect be the enemy of good or something, like don't let perfect keep you from being something like that, right?
Well, Tony Robbins says perfection is the worst standard. Perfection is the lowest standard, is what he says.
Ooh, that is a good quote.
Yeah. Billy, you're an interesting case though, because so you couldn't have
6 months
imagined you beginning your content journey and envisioned that it would be here.
It would be any better. There is no better blueprint. There is none.
Humbly speaking, your community, right, the people you know have made you thousands of dollars to date and will stand to make you tens of thousands for
hundreds, if I have anything to say about it.
I don't necessarily consider it much luck. It's just a matter of
doing shit, man. Doing shit.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really put a price on network and as far as inside of the Amazon game.
No, you can't.
The people you know and that you're talking to every day are what's going to push your business forward. You know, not nobody can do it all by themselves, especially when you're starting out. But the thing with the content, like I remember probably February or January this year, and I'm listening to this podcast. I might have said this when you guys had me on, but I was like, I'm gonna freaking meet these guys, or they're gonna know me. We're gonna be friends at some point somehow. And yeah, I was pretty shocked, honestly, that Miles and you guys, all of you, were engaging with me when I sent you DMs. So I think what makes the community so great is that everybody pretty much pays it forward and is really inviting to anyone that actually wants to put in the work.
But so this is something that Miles talks about a lot, is we know the effort on the other side, whether you think about it or not. Like we know, we can get a sense of if you're trying, what sort of effort you are, and the quality of what you're asking, because there's qualitatively very different questions. How do I get started is not a good question. A very pointed, direct question, a very strategic question is a completely different one. And it's very obvious in terms of what sort of seller you are.
How do I sell Yeti?
What?
I'm saying that's a
directed
question.
Like you can clear. This took no production value, but you can see that he's doing it.
Yeah.
This is what was this? Yeah, it's February 1st, right? This is like right when you're gonna start.
I will say this: I like Billy's reel content. I want more of that. I think you should post like a funny reel once every few days, especially if you can kind of broaden it a little bit. I like the really niche stuff because I get it, but like if you can take it a little bit broader, like you're funny, dude. And like
that's the thing though. Like I have to, like when I make those memes, the reels, like when it comes to me, when a good idea comes to me, I know it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
But I don't want to like. I hate having to like force out. I
can't. Don't force it. And that's why, like, I think you should allow some freedom in your day, to where, like, when you feel like making a video, you give yourself the freedom to stop doing what you're doing and make the video. Because when you feel like it, it's going to be so much better.
I think that's actually a really good topic to talk about, because I feel like, especially with content creators or guys that are doing it like consistently, obviously I'm not like, but Gideon was on Logan Paul's podcast, and he was talking about like he doesn't like to go out and party because when he gets done filming and everything, whole like ideas will come to him at night when he's just chilling by himself.
Yeah. So that happens to me literally.
It's like leaving yourself free time to be creative, which I think is huge for a lot of entrepreneurs. And even if not with content, just like sourcing ideas and hey, maybe I should go check this stuff out.
Yeah.
Just giving yourself time to think and execute when you have that burst of motivation, I think is huge.
100%. Give yourself that downtime.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I think I just added you to the group chat randomly, because I'm looking through our messages and there was no just like, hey, do you want to join this? It was literally like at some point you just joined. But I'm looking.
I remember that day you added me. I was like, it was crazy.
Yeah, was it before 21 or
yes, this is January, early February. Yeah. Yo, Miles, you use Inventory Lab. I use Excelis and I really like it, but I'm looking for a way to really track my numbers to see how much I'm actually making.
But see, that's a question that wouldn't come from someone who has not started.
True. Yeah, very true.
That's exactly what I was trying to get at is by the nature of the question, it's very obvious what your intention is, what you've done, and what you want to do. Right? Those three things are very clear just by the question. And that comes from reading hundreds of questions of all sorts of qualities. Like we get tens of DMs every single day of all different varieties. And it's very obvious what sort of nature and what sort of experience that question comes from.
Also, like people could ask questions that aren't related to Amazon. You just want to build relationships at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be like, hey, how do I use a repricer or something like that? Like ask like a genuine question that you wouldn't be able to know the answer unless you asked.
So Billy, I hear you told me a couple days ago that you were putting together an OA list for your audience. Is that still coming to fruition, or what's the update on that?
Yeah, I mean, I have about 35 to 50 solid leads I have in a sheet that I would buy personally, but I'm focusing on other SKUs right now that I'm trying to like go deeper on.
Mm-hmm.
But I've just been so busy, I'm not going to build a leads list when I could be buying stuff myself. So that's kind of where my attention's been the past few days.
And getting a haircut.
Yes, did get a haircut.
Looks good. Yeah, it does. I gotta get one too.
Thanks, King.
Oh, got you. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, on gating, yes, you need 10 of a specific item. On that best business credit card, Capital One Spark. Capital One Spark.
It depends on what you want, though. Wouldn't you say Plum for somebody who
we love it? I mean,
yeah, Plum is great too. Yeah,
I think if you don't have one, the best one is any card.
Yeah, I mean that's valid point.
That's very good. Yeah, that's a good point.
Miles, tell us about your trip to Florida.
Yeah, just getting out, seeing some family for a few days and everything. And I mean, like for negative reasons on stuff, but not
meeting with Celeram.
No, that's next week.
That's
going away again on stuff. There'll be content around that. Definitely, we're excited for. On stuff. Again, it takes a while to process what you said, so be patient. Yeah, definitely. It takes a while to get good at anything. Yeah, like college is 4 years long. Dudes are out here trying Amazon for a week, talking about this doesn't work. No, you didn't work. It's not that it doesn't work. It's that you didn't work on stuff. So of course you're not going to see results after a while on different stuff. Like Avery, how long was it for you before you saw significant results?
With OA, it's still now.
Well,
like I'm 3 months in. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Amazon yet.
I mean, I feel like everyone goes through this where like you feel like you're doing really well, and then like you look back and you're like, I was doing terrible. I thought I was doing really well in 2018 when I lived in my car. I thought I was like killing it. 80K in sales for the year. I was like, yeah, I'm the shit. And then I look back at it, I'm like, what was I doing?
It was fun though. Those are some of the most fun times.
You got to do it. You got to do. I know. I'm at that same phase now with OA. Like I know I'm the idiot, but I know I have to go through this to get to the point where I'm the expert. We
were talking about the other day where you can see stuff other people can't see.
Yes, exactly. And I already feel like you say this a lot. Like the best data is the data that you have. Meaning like it's better. What beats any Keepa data is your sales data, and the only way you're going to get that sales data is by actually buying the item and listing it. So the way you want to shorten your learning curve is buy the product, list it as quickly as possible. If you don't list it fast, if it takes more than a few weeks, you're literally making your learning curve longer. It's going to take a longer.
Compressing it. That's why I like merchant for beginners.
Exactly. Yeah, that literally takes your learning curve to like a week to figure out if a product was good or not.
Yep. It compresses it. And you can FBA a lot of it. Just merchant fulfill a couple. Just to build that skill. Like I'm merchant fulfilled only my first 300K of sales about, right? It was all merchant fulfilled. And I wouldn't have done that again looking back on it, but it was like what it did was it helped me build the skill of reading Keepa charts way quicker than if on every single item I was waiting 2 or 3 weeks for it to check in. Instead, I was ordering it today. It was getting here 3 or 5 days later, 6 days later, whatever. And I was getting it listed that day, getting the repricer on that day.
I got 2 quick questions if you can answer real fast. Number one, how much lower, if there is an FBA offer, are you having to go to get a sale?
Not low at all. Like very close.
Okay.
Like sub 2 or 3% close.
Number 2 is like there any like telltale signs that, oh, this is an awesome listing to try an MF?
Yes. Immediately when you come to it, if there's a merch filled buy box, that's just a green flag automatically. Buy box stats, FBA column, a lack of check marks, or a couple that don't have check marks.
Nice. Yeah.
Over a long time frame. But either way, a lot of stuff you just can. Sometimes you obviously can. If it's over like $50, there's
you need to have a video editor that knows enough about Amazon to like take that clip and then show like a Keepa and like point an arrow at like where you're talking about and then make a quick little like IG reel about it.
That was cool. That was cool.
Even just like the size of it, right? back when, so we don't do any merchant fulfill anymore, but back when we did, we wouldn't touch anything merchant fulfilled if we couldn't put it in a poly mailer. Reason being, if it's merchant fulfillable, we want it to be quick, efficient, effective.
Yeah. One more question about that. How can you estimate MF shipping costs?
Based on the item, what about it's going to be just by looking at it on stuff. And then selling most, like a shoe, for example, every shoe I've ever merch filled, I just do 2 pounds, 12 by 10 by 8 box. Like,
Yeah.
And you put that, where can you put that to get like a shipping estimate?
It'll always be between $8 to $12, pretty much exclusively.
But for like a small beauty item, like let's say, or like a battery. Like
that you can't. It would just kind of be eyeballing it. You can estimate in Pirate Ship. You can get an estimate in Pirate Ship, but it's also going to depend. Something to Cali is going to be $12, while something to Pennsylvania might be $8. But it averages out. Like FBA, a lot of people don't know, but FBA and Merchfield are pretty much the same cost for the most part. Like when you average them out, because you don't pay FBA fees, but you do pay individual shipping. It's just that for the most part, you need to be FBAing stuff because Amazon favors it in the algorithm and stuff sells a lot quicker. It's more efficient.
Yeah.
But the plus with merchant fulfilled is the quicker cash flow turnaround.
Baby, absolutely.
Especially with crazy products like last summer, chlorine. You can just buy all the chlorine in a Costco and list it, and if it doesn't sell, you can return it.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That's good too. Yeah, so no, you don't have Amazon label it. You label stuff yourself.
But that's the value that beginners get when they merchant fulfill. Is confidence is a big thing when we're talking about buying. Right? You need the confidence to be sure that if I'm buying something, it's going to work out in my favor. Right? And so in the beginning, naturally, you just don't have the confidence that someone more experienced would have. So you merchant fulfill to gain that confidence. You buy it, you just see and you experience how that progression works. And if it doesn't work 2, 3, 4 weeks down the line, you return it, get the cash flow back and put it into something else. Right? It's a risk-free way to just gain that experience share of sourcing, selling, and just making money on Amazon. It's an invaluable thing, especially in the beginning.
Yeah. Nah, chlorine was easy to get ungated for. It was just like the hazmat cert writer, like it was something like that.
Yeah, I think I ordered on one of my accounts. I had to order from like Clorox.com, just 10 units to get ungated.
Back in the day.
I definitely wish I merchant fulfilled more books when I was first starting. But
cool.
I've heard different things about that. I've heard that MF books sell 2 times as fast as FBA books. That's what Caleb said at one point.
Oh, so he's right. I mean, that's data. I'm sure.
No, but then Michael Fordnall, Franklin Media, he said the opposite, and he actually sells more books than Caleb, but he only sells textbooks. So like it might make sense that textbooks sell more often FBA than regular books. But Caleb got that from, probably a few Amazon accounts, like probably some bulk sellers is how he came to that conclusion.
I got a question for Miles and Garrett. When you guys first started ramping up your spending, like that jump from like 10, a couple grand to 10, 20, 30,000, what was like the most important keys that you had to implement as far as, keeping track of everything, having a good flow, just like having like a good foundation of systems?
Yeah, it's sourcing good items, and that's like validating having your boys like selling the same thing, which you have right now with everything. So like you won't have to worry about that.
A lot of it just comes from discipline, just creating a plan, sticking to the plan, and then implementing the plan continuously, right? If you know your budget for a specific month, it doesn't do you any good going over that, right? Because that just you'll pay for that down the line. Right. And we know we're educated on the time flow, the cycle of money with Amazon. And you have a certain credit card that has to be paid off at a certain time. Right. So you can create plans around all of that. Right. And so you use that to grow. Obviously, if you come up with more cash, come up with more credit, you can alter your plan, but you structure your plan according to your personal situation, how much money you have, the liquidity of that. Right. Because credit's great, but if you have no cash to back that credit, it's useless.
Yeah. And it's very risky. Yeah. I know that.
Definitely. Right. So, and in terms of just growing on Amazon, it's a slow grind. It's a slow, painful grind. But you get to the point where essentially you're playing with monopoly money at a certain point. But to get there, it takes discipline, it takes strategy, and it takes patience. Right? Because your business is going to grow 2, 3, 4%, 10%, 15% each and every month. right? And if you don't come up with that extra cash, extra credit, then it's just going to grow at that steady rate.
Yep.
So, I mean, patience is the name of the game.
It really is.
The end game, though, is obviously extremely lucrative.
But it takes a while to get the money and the scale. Do you check buy box stats on every new product you purchase? Nope. I mostly just test stuff, so no, I don't. Or I was back when I was testing stuff, but yeah, not really. To be honest, Avery, I tend to just know from the keeper. Yeah, there's a bunch of seller amp videos on my channel, 013 Marine. Pretty much every video I use it in and show how it works and everything. But if you're looking to do OA like sourcing, reverse sourcing, definitely get a free trial of.
Wait, Miles, did you answer Avery's message? Or
yes. What's Wizards of E-commerce? You ever heard of that, Romer, Miami?
Yeah. What's the question?
What is it? Or like, have you used them?
I spoke at one of their events, and I've met with him a few times. It's just like he actually runs like a salsa studio.
Oh, that's live. Is it Amazon automation or what is it?
No, he's like a huge seller. He does like 8 or 9 figures a year. His name's Carlos. I should have him speak at one of the Miami events.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he sells like a bunch of weird stuff. He'll sell like insects,
like blind bugs.
Yeah, like he's on some weird stuff. But apparently he either does 8 or 9 figures a year, which is like, no, he does 9 figures a year. He told me it's like 150 something million. I'm like, dude, what?
That's like that's gonna be like a top 5. That would be like the #1 US seller. Like,
well, I don't know if it's all on Amazon, but he said 150 million, or he said like it was 8. How many figures is that? 100 million.
Is he on socials? That's
yeah, his name's look him up on IG. It's like Carlos Alvarez. Just look up Wizards of Amazon or Wizards of Ecom, something like that. He's him and Alexis and Gabe.
Oh, here we go.
Well,
all the Miami people.
Scott Software would show him up if he was actually doing that on Amazon.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's bullshitting. Let's get Carlos on this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. To circle back to Avery's question, the buy box statistics is probably the most valuable part of Keepa, right? Obviously, the price fluctuation, all that good stuff is important, right? But to really get a wholesome sense of what that product is doing, you need to know the share of different owners and how much they have with the buy box. You need to know what sort of history in terms of the diversification of the buy box. All these things are important.
Yeah.
BQ and Helium 10 don't do the same thing, but that's a perfect example of a question you could just go to their site to find. I don't mean to like single you out or anything, but that's the perfect example of a question that shows that you're not doing the research on your own around stuff. So stuff like that, and I would highly recommend, just because like looking stuff like that up on your own, it will serve.
I will say this about that: if you are lazy, I'm lazy like that too, and I want to ask lazy questions. Like join like a Facebook group or a Discord. Don't ask like the main guru the question, but feel free to ask like people on the come up that type of question, and you'll get like 5 different opinions from people, and then you can. I like doing research that way, actually. Like asking like a stupid basic question, getting 5 different answers, and you're like, wait, this is more of a complex question than I thought. And then you can dive down Google. So like I actually recommend kind of doing the opposite as well. But don't ask Miles directly on IG like I do.
Well, you've earned the right to. You helped me with a ton of stuff, you know?
I mean, yeah, Avery sometimes acts like he's a
newbie. Whoa. All right, well, dude called me. I'm 2 months in. This is what this live. Oh, so you're telling me what this live is for? After we just sat here and answered like 10
you are here to serve the people, Miles.
True. Well, high key, I mean, yes, but like I don't like, dude, like just go to their website.
You are our slave.
Oh, this is a good question. This is a good question. How far back can we go on the Keepa chart you look at when making a decision to purchase that SKU? Yeah, typically 3 months to a year for the most part, Steven, unless it's a seasonal type item and you want to see the previous year. But yeah, 3 months to a year should be pretty helpful and stuff. And mainly the 3-month chart, because that's very relevant on stuff.
There's levels to that though, right? The more we can map back a certain price threshold, the more confidence we then have, right? If a product has been trending between 20 and 25 for 8 months, well, I'm rest assured that the next maybe 1-2 months, as long as there's no crazy swings in offer count, that's going to remain the same, right? If that same threshold was only lasted for 3, 4, 5 weeks, 2 months, that's a bit of a different story, right?
Yeah.
Then we couple that with different changes in offer counts, different levels of demand change. All those things help us to evaluate the current state, to use that to make our futuristic decision.
I can share this lead with y'all later, Billy and Miles and Garrett, but I found this seasonal product that's about to pop, and the price currently is like not that profitable. It's like $5 profit, but I saw that it sold out the last few seasons, and the price just went basically to like whatever the people wanted it to, and like there's not that many sellers on it, so like I don't think a lot of people are buying it because it's not profitable now, but if you look at the last few seasons, it is. And so I feel like that's like I feel like you need to start making more moves like that in OA to like, I feel like that's like expert level. And I'm not there yet, but I'm going to try it this season and see if it works out, you know?
It's the only way to figure
I did a ton of that sort of stuff last Q4. And we I mean, now we didn't do enough. Like we certainly didn't do enough, but those sorts of opportunities where you can use the past 2, 3, 4 seasons
and see like it's sold out, and then you can see like there's fewer sellers this year, and all you can hope is that they're not all, you know, thinking the same thing as you. But
then using that sort of information, you can then act futuristically in October for something in Q4 when the current state is not going to equal the future state, right? Because you have the information you need. You have the 3, 4, 5 seasons of data that are all saying the same story. Then you use that to make that decision when no one else is doing it. Because when everyone else catches up to you is when it's too late. Because then it's out of stock everywhere. Then no one else can find it. And then it's just too late.
Yeah. It running out of stock is huge. I really love it when stuff runs out of stock because it shows that the supply is now limited.
Yeah, so you can set the market on stuff. And just generally, like, if something's really low competition, it's going to take a while for a bunch of people to find it. I'm still trying to nail when to use each one. I just use Sales Booster on everything. Sales Maximizer is going to undercut just to your lowest, and Equalizer is just like not good on stuff. Like, in my opinion, it's not good. I just use Sales Booster and everything. Ken, the upside's always going to be in sourcing stuff, so I would just Sales Booster and focus on sourcing on everything.
So what's the deal with Be Cool repricing items that are on the way to the fulfillment center and they get tanked in price?
Well, no, that's anything if you turn it on an item or use rule-based repricing on stuff. But I turn it on each individual item once it gets live within Amazon.
Is there a way to set that rule so you never have to worry about it?
I don't see why you'd want to.
Yeah, tell me if you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but just send it in at the max price. And then your repricer is going to pick it up and reprice it at whatever it should be.
But if you're an FC transfer and your due date's 40 days out, but you're in stock and you reprice down, you're going to ruin it for everyone.
But like, why? Like, what is your strategy in pricing and setting your minimums, Billy?
Well, I don't have Be Cool set up right now. I just have reprice it for my books.
Yeah, so your minimum is going to solve that for you, right? And Miles and I were just talking about this on the last episode, right? Anytime we reprice with a min and a max threshold, right?
No matter what happens with FC transfers, it's never going to change anything.
Exactly. But the point of the min and the max is we don't care what we sell it at within those 2 points. That's why they're there.
Yeah.
That gives us the those are the bumpers that you use when bowling, right? If you throw the ball down the bowling alley, it's going to hit something in between those bumpers.
You're throwing the ball down the bowling alley?
The min and the max do the same thing. You know you're going to sell the price within those 2 thresholds. That's why you set the min and the max strategic.
I feel like I've asked you this question before, but when it comes to minimum prices, at what point are you? I talked to Jake the other day, and Jake says he's waiting 90 days.
Yeah.
Some OA items.
It depends how much you buy and how long you want to be on that.
If something's not in the sorry, Miles, you can go.
Yeah, I'd say after like 30 or 45 days if it's not moving.
But 30 days, my rule now is like I need to change this, but it's it basically just tanks the price.
I don't use rule based. I use just like VQL modes. This is a good question. Tyler, I jumped on a listing with estimated 360 sales a month. I'll take a screenshot at different times throughout the day and sometimes don't see anyone's stock numbers change. Yeah, Tyler, that's because the people who are printing money on that listing have max order quantities to hide their stock counts from people like you that are trying to monitor that. So that's probably a reason, or for whatever reason it hasn't sold or something like that. Because something with 360 sales a day, that's only 10 a day. And if half of those are at someone with max order quantities on, then naturally only a few times a day.
Is that the real reason why they do it? Are they really trying to hide how many they're selling, you think?
And so people don't buy all their stock and put it into pending.
Yeah.
That seems like more of a reason.
That used to happen a lot more. There's better rules about it on Amazon.
Or if you're MFing just to like not overwhelm your employees in one day with like a crazy amount of orders.
Yeah. But I mean, so I like to stay a little bit more liquid than Jake does. If something's not moving in 2 weeks, then I start to change price.
Once it becomes available.
Yeah, once it becomes available.
Well, yeah, I mean, if something hasn't moved in 2 weeks, if it's active within that time, then I'm starting to lower price. If the market is below my minimum after 2 weeks, then I lower my minimum to meet the market.
Okay. At what point are you like taking like a big L? Like, all right, this thing's
it's not going to happen when you buy right. Like it
will like at scale. Like if you have hundreds of ASINs, there's going to be 8%, might be 2%, might be 5%, might be 8%, but there's going to be a percent that sell.
You'd be surprised. Like you'd really be surprised on. You know what I mean? Like why do you have hundreds of ASINs? Why not 100 good ones that you carefully test active? You know.
But like I guess a big L is relative, right? After 2 weeks, if something's dropping, like if after 2 weeks something's not moving, I'm dropping price to whatever it is. Typically, that's around break even, maybe a couple percentage points up or down.
Yeah, so it's not even really a list.
For me, maybe I'm just a terrible purchaser, but there's some items that have dropped. Like, okay, I bought these. I won't say what, but they dropped from $25 to $12.
Yeah, okay. See, you fucked up. Yeah,
I'm like, this sucks, but
yeah,
it looks like it'll return. Like in the past, it goes back up.
Avery, Diamond Hands, Romer Martin.
Hold out. See what happens.
See, for me, I'm gonna take
Bezos, baby.
I'm gonna take a guaranteed break even now over a potential 5-10% in 2-3 weeks. I mean, that's just how I operate.
Yeah, gotcha.
Just because like things need to be moving. Everything needs to be moving at all times. Like things need to be selling. It doesn't make you money sitting on the shelf at FBA.
What's your oldest item in stock, Miles, right now? OA.
Probably like 105 days or something like that. I don't know. And I'm currently selling through them.
So, Avery, what's your, and you might not actually know this. So if you're in your inventory aging tab, there's a breakdown in terms of 0 to 9 or 0 to 90, 91 to 180, and 180 plus.
The moment my inventory hits 30 days, we fire sell it. We just get it out.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
I made a rule that if it hits 30 days, according to we made a special spreadsheet for it, then basically it reprices till a sale occurs, which I think is a really stupid rule. I made it like a couple weeks ago.
And that's so short-term thinking too.
Well, no, actually, I based it off what you said.
I weak how he was smiling when he was saying it too. Like you just like, yeah, I just lose money on purpose.
No, this is me trying to get my dollar back so I can invest more. Like I think at scale, there's gonna be some items that just aren't gonna make money. It's impossible to say no to that. At scale, there's gonna be items that lose you money.
It's terrible state of mind.
You should be buying stuff that's high volume enough that it's hard for it to go. Like it takes a while for it to go down.
Yeah, and I made a video. You guys can watch it. It's really good for book sellers if you guys want book selling repricing rules, but it's like iffy.
Well, yeah, book selling repricing is way different because you only have one of every SKU. So there is no law. You can go like fire sale stuff like crazy because you only need one sale to sell out. It's much.
I raised my minimum prices on books to $10, and I doubled my sell through rate using channel.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
It's pretty wild, and it was all like because of me thinking through what I want to do with OA. And I think currently the only stupid rule I have is after 30 days fire sell OA. So I need to.
Are there still a lot of booksellers? Like, are you still answering tons of book questions in the DMs, or how does that work?
I'm not answering a bunch of questions, period. I talk with some people in Spanish from time to time.
My boy Juan. Juan and Cody and all them. Yeah.
I have like
and Brian.
hundreds of DMs that are unanswered. I'm just like so focused on learning. I feel like I'm at the point where I need to become a better Amazon seller for the people. Like I've done the book thing. And so now it's like when I go to Miami 2023 next year, I want to be somebody who can like teach you how to do it. In this case, OA. I wasn't sure if it was going to be OA wholesale or whatever, but I'm really liking OA. So, but yeah, people ask me, I mean, I still got my course. I got that community. Like yeah, there's still a ton of books. Yeah, I'm going to be making a lot more book selling content soon because I'm finally going to be launching the go-to lister after like almost 2 years.
I thought you were. I thought you just weren't doing that anymore.
No, I let go of the Indian team and I hired a new guy. And so he's an American, super smart guy, self-taught, lives in Florida. And yeah, we're coming to the final stages. So hopefully we'll bring it to the OA world too. He does a little bit of wholesale himself. He's the guy that did UPCscout.com. I don't know if you know that guy. It was really small. He's got like no Instagram audience, so he wasn't able to sell it. So that's why we partnered, because I can sell it, he can build it.
Cool.
So
Oh yeah,
that's a good
You
question.
work for a software company, right?
Yeah.
Garrett works for a software company.
I haven't heard any difference, so yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever thought about building one yourself?
Heck no.
No, this is like enterprise, like Fortune 100 type, like
It's a global company.
yeah, $1 billion, like multi.
Well,
like,
I think he's asking, have you thought of building an Amazon software yourself?
Yes, that was my question.
Oh, I mean, I'm certainly not smart to do it myself, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if there's an opportunity for, I mean, I know enough people who have done it, but probably not. Dude, there's just so much lower hanging fruit.
yeah, or at
and-
least for what
and
you're trying to do.
To
Yeah.
me, if I'd rather invest that money elsewhere outside of Amazon, right? There's just a lot of things that I want to get into, continuing to diversify my income portfolio. Then
What else are you trying to get into?
I'm buying a couple of student housing houses in the next couple of weeks.
Which in the Pennsylvania area?
Yeah.
Around like local schools?
Around the school I went to, yeah.
Oh, I knew you were gonna say that. I'm sure those are cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Romer. What's
Good
the
one.
Spanish one? Romer El Viejo.
No, I changed it because Romer, the second Romer, ROAMER, is not a word in Spanish. Like they don't understand it. So why would I have my name with an English word? So I changed it to Avery El Viajero, which is Avery the Traveler, which is like the same.
Man, I love Romer El Romer was so funny to me.
Romero El Romer was it, but Romer's not. So I would tell it to people all the time here, and like they wouldn't like be like, oh, what is it? And I'd be like, they don't get it. They don't get what I'm doing. So then I changed it to Romer Avery the Vagabonda, which is Avery the homeless person, and I didn't know. And then I changed it one more time.
So someone recognized you from the old travel content?
Yeah, I was out dancing one night. No, it
That's
wasn't old
crazy.
travel content.
That
it was
is
a
so
recent
crazy.
Cali video that I posted that got like 200 or 300 views. And I have a girl that wants to come down, and she wants to pay to have me give her a tour of Cali.
We were debating how legitimate that business opportunity is.
We'll see.
Wait, so so that was a video from like 4 years ago. Someone just
No. The video was recent. I posted the Cali video, what to do in Cali, blah blah blah, or something like that.
Okay.
And they found it just through searching, and then they went to Cali and saw me at a just a dance party or whatever. And they were like, I think I saw you on YouTube. And I was like, oh yeah, you know me, Romer the Romer, Amazon, blah blah blah. And they were like, no, like the Cali.
Columbia video, yeah, 10 things.
And then I was like, shit, this guy doesn't even know what I do. He just knows me from this random video.
But that's dope. That's dope. You know, like you talked to him at all or anything, or just like
we just talked a little bit.
Did you dance with him?
With him?
Do you guys stock deeper than a month turnaround
What
and
just happened?
that have consistent price history? Yeah, skin repair. With OA, it's a little bit tougher to forecast in terms of getting quantity of stuff. But yeah, we got a celebrity in the building. Dude, that logo is clean. The purple on that, yeah.
So we missed a good question. If you find a product and the box looks different than the listing, do you send it?
Man.
So it depends, right? First things first is you want to look at obviously the integrity of the product. Is the product the same? If there's any sort of variation, you're just asking for a beating with your Amazon account. If the product's the same and the box is a little different, you have to acknowledge that there is going to be a subset of those sales that just come back, right? There's a lot of picky customers out there. So if you're cool with that, depending on what the volume is,
I think it really depends on the product too.
Yeah.
Clothing, you're screwed. But like
books,
something like supplements or something, like if the active ingredients are the same, you're good. You know, that's my opinion.
I envision you talking about like a toy is the same, but the packaging of the toy is different. You're going to get a mixed bag. There's probably a majority of them are going to go through probably successfully, but there's always.
I was going to have you do some sketchy stuff last year, Garrett. Remember, I was going to have you like divvy up the chlorine.
Oh, that
tablets.
was sus. Oh, that was sus. Yeah, that was sus.
Oh, you did. You did do it. You said.
Oh shit, we did it.
Yeah,
that was terrible. I'm surprised like Taylor and I's account survived that. That really helped with our profit margin.
That made a bag too. That made a bag.
I didn't make as much as I wanted to. Like I think I only made so I paid both Taylor and Jake $4,000 a piece just for telling me about it. Like I told them both I would pay them 20% of 20% of my profit. They had both had different ASINs. So I paid them way too much because I didn't realize how big it was going to be. But I was like, I'm going to be a man of my word and stick to whatever I said.
Yeah, and remember that really tall guy that we were all beefing, or I was beefing with?
Oh, yeah.
I was beefing with.
What's his name? Was that Jason?
He was like 7 foot, and I was like, give Romer. We all come, and for some reason.
Yeah, he was literally 7 feet tall.
He just targeted me, and we were just beefing. It was
stress. I ended up making $30K at the end of the day after everything, but I spent like $100,000 plus. I don't even know how much I spent, but I mean, $30K in 2 months while my other business is still running. Like that sounds pretty good, right? But like honestly, I was working like 10-hour days, texting people. I was flying people to different cities. Like that was like
But it's worth it though. You made 30 bands.
Well, yeah, but it's stressful. There's a lot of money on, like obviously.
Dude, OA is so much better than that. Like,
yeah,
it's so much more scalable. There's replans. Like you learn as you go. You find people. I don't know. It's just like it builds. Whereas that just dies.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was almost a year ago. We were kicking it out. That Miami crib you guys had was nice. The first one was nice too, but that apartment from last year was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's like the least thing I care about now. Like I'm living in this little crappy thing in Cali. It's like
like $900 though, which is a lot for that.
Yeah, but I get free. That includes breakfast. I get my room cleaned every day, and it's safe. It's right next to the police station, so it's not like dirt cheap. But I mean, $900 compared to like my first year in Miami was $2,000. Splitting it with Steve, By the way, Steve's doing eBay flips.
Dude, Steve, I was putting Steve on to Seller Amp. He
was talking about it today. He's been using it.
Yeah.
Bro, and, you only paid $2,000 for your first spot?
Well, it was
$4,000 total.
Oh, so but still, that would be like $3,000 these days, probably. Like
it's 5 or 6 now. I bet. I bet it's 5 or 6. Ask what's his name, Danny. What's he paying? Same building.
A lot.
But we had a corner unit.
Yeah, so this is only a studio, but I don't know if I should be saying this, but he's paying $28,000.
Oh, that's not bad.
Doesn't really matter, yeah. What up, Seth?
He actually got a sick deal on that then.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's going up a lot. If he were to renew, it would go up
to like what, 35?
Yeah.
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 He's moving out. What's up?
Does KT Hustles live in the same building as him?
No, KT Hustles, dude. KT Hustles is the boy. We got to get him on for another episode.
He's in the Lux.
Yeah, something nice. I don't know. I know it's insanely nice.
That man's going hard on
grinding.
Everything, dude.
He's like full on Russell Brunson now. Like I get emails from him like every day.
That's how I'm trying to be too. Yeah, that's
he's in the same building that Steve will do it's in. He's met him a couple times.
Is he actually?
Most underrated sales channels right now, Amazon, man. Is it Miami 2022 open for everyone? It was. They're having a 2023 one as well. I don't know what month you guys planning on doing it in.
I'm thinking February would be.
Oh, that's soon. You keep pushing it up. There might be 2 2023s then.
Maybe. It might be March. It might be April. Who knows? But
Vegas.
It's gonna be Miami.
Well, what about like at this rate, you're pushing it up each year?
What do you mean pushing it up?
Like, okay, so it was August and then April.
Yeah.
Now February.
We might do it at April again, but there's a chance April could be really hot. And I think March and February have better weather. I think we should just get in the habit of doing it.
April that is so terrible is that it's right around spring break. Like people are paying.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of bad stuff. We just need to get sponsors now. We already have the lineup. Like I already know who I want to speak. I want you guys there.
Well,
you guys to actually come through.
You should do it like Eric and Sebastian do theirs. They couple their events with ASD.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And
so they do one in Vegas the same weekend. ASD does theirs. They do one in Orlando the same weekend.
We'll do it the same weekend as a cryptocurrency convention or something.
God, Bitcoin. and everything. Cool. All right, so guys, we're gonna jump off in like 5 or 10 minutes. So if you guys have any really good Amazon questions, drop them in the chat before we hop off the first ever live episode. And make sure to subscribe, whether you're watching this on the Buy Box Bandit channel on the recording or watching it live on the Flips for Miles channel right now, as 74 of you guys are currently doing it. So yeah, Manny. So Romer Avery, who's right below me, he hosted like an Amazon seller conference, basically.
This was fun. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, Billy, how you doing? How's Billy's business doing?
It's doing good. I've done about 10K the past 30 days in sales. But yeah, we're ramping up spending, and August should be, hopefully maybe we can double that the next 30 days. But
That'd be lit.
Yeah, we're doing.
To put that into perspective, we did 10K in sales with probably like 1,500 in credit. So I mean, that's like extremely impressive.
But yeah, August is going to be a movie.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, August is going to be really good for me too. I'm excited for August being so big because Q4 is like right around the corner, and then I'll just have like all that capital coming in and momentum, and
the momentum's the big part when you gain the trust in it.
Yeah, and I have all these SKUs that I'm repurchasing. I'm getting in the flow of like knowing when sales are going to happen on certain websites. We have a system for checking. Like, there's a lot of SKUs that are out of stock, and I have my team check in stock every day. So it's like
pretty much from here until like mid-January, it's just mayhem, just absolutely nuts.
Raken's the goat. If you guys have met Raken, right?
Of course. Yeah,
I've never met Raken. No,
I've been to his crib.
Cool.
Yeah, him and I actually filmed a couple of seller amp videos the other day, like a week ago Friday. Basically, cool. All right, so we're gonna
so precise with your times.
Yeah,
we could go Friday at 5 p.m.
You and I did the content that same day too.
After a warm cup of tea.
Yeah, sweet. All right, thanks for listening and watching, everyone. That one dude left. We answered all his questions, and I was like, dude, like Google's free, and he was not excited about it.
Maybe he's getting started.
Called me a dick too, and everything, but it is what it is. Average ROI in inventory labs around 25%. Hard time finding items. What's the best way? Have friends who are very good at it. Nah, but for real. So I have a couple of free leads I posted in my videos this late. Start off there. Reverse source off those listings. AO drop. Got you. Damn, Seba's kid was in here talking about gatekeepers give away the sauce 45 minutes ago. Now he's in. Thanks, guys. I love this shit. That's what I'm talking about.
I'll chime in because I've had like a long time where I'm like, this doesn't work. I can't find anything. If you're not using discount codes, or you're not looking at websites that have discounts or limited time sales, that in and of itself is going to help so much.
I mean, we talk about creating moats around our products all the time. That's the beginning of it. That's how you start is finding those codes, using those codes that novice Amazon sellers aren't using, right? Because that just creates your barrier of entry. And on the other side of that is profits to be made.
Yeah. We're a lot like animals. Like I was thinking about the other day. Like I'm here in Cali. It's like, how am I surviving? And it's like I'm just like I'm like the same thing as like I don't know, some animal in the jungle, that like a little mouse that goes out and it like knows exactly when the tiger is going to go by, and he times his schedule to go by when the tiger is asleep. It's like we're like the same way with like OA. Like exactly when that.
Okay, let's talk about this though. Limited time sales are hard because so many people jump on as well. Well, considering you said I'm finding hard time finding items, then that's not the case on stuff. Or like that's a limiting belief. Like you're talking about something you haven't like validated on stuff.
And bands, to answer your question, go listen to our podcast with Kevin and Rodriguez. I think it was 3 episodes ago. We talk about that.
You gotta be like a hamster. You just gotta like shove your cheeks,
Amazon seller sharks gotta eat fast,
and then go back to your nest. That's the same way with the sales. You gotta buy all the stock, and then just wait.
Yeah, Greg, I would. Yeah, well, that's true too. On sales, you can go harder because those buy costs might not be available, especially if you know how long the sale's going on for.
Cool, guys. Miles, want to bring us home?
Yeah, take it easy. Everyone, go follow these guys. I'm going to take the comment off the screen. Miles, Garrett, Avery.
This is impossible.
Billy. Yep. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's backwards. Take it easy, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll see you guys on the next one.